Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, where we break down today's local news stories with our very own reporters. Today we're following up on Bloomington City's council meeting, hearing how the city is responding to recent controversial flyers being posted around the city. Then one of our very own reporters had a chance to meet an adventurer that spent over a year traveling across the U.S. in a canoe. See how he met up with him as he made his way up the Illinois River. And then we're talking disc golf, how Central Illinois has impacted the sport, and how Ledgestone Tournament has grown over the years. But our first big local story of the day, Bloomington City Council discussed recent concerns of hate in the city at their meeting Monday night. Austin Feeman joins us now with more on what the council is doing to combat the hate and how they are handling it. Austin, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
So what are the hate concerns in Bloomington?
So last week, I'm not sure the exact time, but some flyers were left around the city of Bloomington, and those flyers had some hateful messages on them. Oh. Some of them include, there was a picture of an American flag, but instead of stars, where the stars would be on an American flag, it was a swastika. And there were some other things that were said. They were calling for a march on Bloomington, saying that they were going to kind of take back the city to the real citizens, is what they called themselves. This march was planned to be taking place at Miller Park on Saturday during a farmer's market of all things, which was a little odd when I first heard that. But we're not completely sure if this march is actually happening, but the flyers have been around Bloomington, and it has grown some concerns in the city and the city's citizens.
So then they came to the city council meeting, I believe, the people that are against the flyers, they came to that meeting, right? What happened at the city council meeting?
Yeah, so Not in Our Town is an organization that has been combating hate and hate crime since 1995 in Bloomington Normal. They basically gave a pledge. They gave a pledge card to all of the city council members and the mayor, which they signed, basically saying that they are against hate and they want to have an inclusive and safe environment in Bloomington and Normal. Also on the flyers, it said that the mayor of Bloomington was on their side, which was a very bold claim. And so the mayor of Bloomington signed one of these cards and kind of just reiterated that he is against.
He's not with
He's not
people.
with them. So that he kind of cleared the air on that, saying that he's not with them. He's not part of this hate, whatever we want to call it.
Right, okay. And so what are the plans to combat that hate?
Yeah, so as of now on Saturday, there's a public rally happening that has been organized by Not in Our Town. They will be in front of the Bloomington Center of Performing Arts at around noon. Basically, they're just standing up against the hateful activity that's been recently happening in Bloomington because, again, they want an inclusive and safe environment for everyone in Bloomington. And not only them, I'm sure every single citizen in Bloomington wants that. They want a safe place to live. They want to feel like they are included and they have a nice place to live. So Bloomington Police is currently investigating these flyers. They don't really know who sent them or who placed them around town, but they're currently investigating and they are trying to figure out who left those flyers. But as of right now, there is a rally in place for Saturday, kind of during the same time as when the one on the flyer was scheduled.
A lot happening in Bloomington Normal, it seems like.
Yes, a lot happening in Bloomington right now.
Well, a 12-year-old kid is turning his hobby into making history. Wilson has been bouncing around on his pogo stick since he was little. This summer, Wilson became the world record holder for longest time jumping on a pogo stick hands-free on the website Kids World Records. He jumped for 30 minutes and 2 seconds, smashing the previous record of 18 minutes. As for what's next, Wilson says he's keeping his feet on the ground, at least for now. He wants to focus on school with big dreams of becoming a marine biologist and an astronaut. I feel like those jobs are kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I mean, go him. Not a lot of kids can say that they've broken a world record at that young age.
But you also pogo sticked as well, right?
I've maybe dabbled in a little pogo sticking and a little of some kangaroo stilts.
Oh, okay. I love those animals.
Yeah, exactly. I basically was a kangaroo. I mean, last summer I was a grasshopper jumping around and flipping in my stilts, jumping around and doing all those things. So I definitely think I could beat the kids' record if I was a little younger.
So as the expert then, was that very impressive to be hands-free? Because I'd assume it's difficult because I probably would die if I went on a pogo stick.
I would say that it's pretty hard. I mean, you kind of have to squeeze with your legs to hold the pogo stick in place, and doing that for 30 minutes is a very long time. I mean, I've been on my stilts for hours at a time, and by the end of that, I cannot walk.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that exhausting in your lower body?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta keep your balance and whatnot, and you're basically just...
I thought it just did most of the jumping for you, you know?
I mean, usually it does. You gotta get it going, but you gotta keep your balance on those things, and it is a lot of work.
Right, okay. Thank you so much for coming on, Austin.
Of course, of course.
When we come back on Beyond the Headlines, we've got one of our WMBD team members making their Beyond the Headlines debut. We have his story, which is gaining traction online, up next. Welcome back. Another story that's gaining a lot of traction online. An adventurer has spent over a year traveling across the U.S. in a canoe. And last weekend, he made a pit stop in Peoria. Our very own Andy Kravitz met up with him on the Illinois River via kayak. And he joins us now to explain how the meeting came about. So thank you for coming on, Andy.
Sure,
appreciate it. So what is this guy? His name is Peter Frank. He's on a canoe. It's on the Illinois River. What's he doing?
He is doing what is called the Great Loop. The Great Loop is a well-known thing where people can go from the Great Lakes through various waterways and make their way to the Atlantic Ocean. From there, they can go down Florida up through the Gulf, and then they can take the Mississippi up, and then they can hit our river here, the Illinois, and they can make their way back up to the Great Lakes. Most people do it the other way. He's going to do it going in the reverse. Rather, most of what he's doing is going upstream or against the current. He's going to paddle. Well, he is paddling a 17-foot boat, and it has about 300 pounds of gear. That's food, tent, and even has a dolly thing that he can then pull his boat with when he has to go past various rapids or like locks, dams, or whatever.
Wow, that sounds pretty exhausting. So how did you find him? What was it like interviewing him on the middle of the Illinois River?
Well, it was cool, to be very honest. I am a paddler. I've been a whitewater kayaker for close to 30 years, so I love being on the water. And I just thought it would be fun to go out there and to say, hey, I boat too, you know? And so I'm out there, and I've got a 9-foot boat, about half the size of his, and we're trying to paddle upstream, and this guy's stroking with just one paddle. I've got two, and we were probably going 3 to 4 miles per hour, and it was tough. I mean, he was making ground, and then we stopped near like some barges, and we just sat and talked, and the water would push us around, and occasionally you would see a carp jump up, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. We were able to find him because he has a website. Just type in "where is Peter Frank," and he's got a live tracker, and you can actually watch him as he goes on his trip. And for instance, today he left here, and he went and he's gone 9 or 10 miles so far today. And he's keeping a blog, and he also has a Facebook group where many folks post their photos and what they've seen of him. And it's super cool. I mean, he's a 24-year-old guy. He's from Michigan, and he's just doing this because why not? He's done his first trip was done 5-6 years ago. He rode a unicycle, of all things, from Wisconsin to Arizona. I mean, who does that? But I mean, he's a really neat guy, and he's just incredibly bright. He is an Eagle Scout, so he's got a lot of stuff going for him. But it was neat because you're on there, and he's in this big long boat, and I've been around paddling all of my life, and I've never seen a boat like this because it's a rare boat. It's a prototype thing. From 1982, I think, and it's just not a commonly used boat. And like I said, it's full of all kinds of stuff, and he has this, you know, raggedy hat, and it's just cool.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Really cool. Yeah, did he, very quickly, what was his reaction when you came to the river and you're like, hey, I want to talk to you? Is he used to that?
He was kind of like, you are who? He was gassed. He was really tired because he had been pushing really hard over the past week. He tends to paddle about 20 miles each day, and he goes 8 to 10 hours each day. Wow. And so he was gassed. So when he saw me, he was kind of wiped out. He had woken up at 5 or 6, paddled, and we met up with him at about 11:30, and we spoke. And then he paddled up to the Peoria Boat Club, where he was able to park his boat, or dock his boat rather. And he crashed, and he just, you know, hung out for a while. He went and visited Wildlife Prairie Park while he was here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, we've got another story as well. Check this out. Today is National Dog Day, so we wanted to show off some of our own pups. First, we're going all the way back to my hometown in Australia. Here are my family's dogs. That's Coco he's the black Labrador, and then Henry's the little fluffy dog right there.
They're cute.
And our producer Sarah is showing us her family pup, Lucy. Sarah's parents just adopted her only 10 months ago. She's very energetic and loves to play with kids and chew on things she isn't supposed to. Pretty naughty. And a dog that's kind of a celebrity around WMBD. Here's Andy's dog, Scooby.
Scooby-Doo. That's Scooby.
That's your
yeah, that Scooby is a one-of-a-kind dog in the sense that he is the nicest dog you'll ever meet, but he will tackle you to show you how much he loves you. Aww. And he's tons of fun, and he clowns and goofs and barks, and he's a great dog.
He's just a very
What
active
about
dog.
yours?
They're very sweet. Coco is just the loveliest dog ever, and
Really?
so is Henry. They don't even bark. You know, they're very quiet.
Really? What is that actually like?
It's just very peaceful, because I had a Cocker Spaniel that non-stop barked when I was growing up.
Scooby barks whenever it is time to eat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I am sitting there, he will bark his head off.
All right, well, thank you so much, Andy, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Sure.
We've got one more local story for you when we return on Beyond the Headlines. We're sitting down with Christopher Huslik to talk about the growth of disc golf right here in Central Illinois. We'll be right back. The Ledgestone Disc Golf Tournament wrapped up 2 weeks ago, but it's leaving a lasting impact in Central Illinois. Christopher Huslik joins us now to explain how the sport has grown here in our area. Thank you so much for coming on, Chris.
No
Always
problem.
appreciate it.
Good to be here 2 days in a row.
Yeah, exactly. The best show here. How has Ledgestone helped disc golf grow in Central Illinois?
Yeah, so I've been talking with a lot of people about this, doing a lot of research. So in around 2011, Nate Heinold, who worked for Ledgestone Insurance, he was an amateur disc golfer himself, maybe in a little bit of like a small professional, and he decided that he wanted to kind of get the insurance company a little notoriety from people, so he created a disc golf tournament. And it started off pretty small for a couple of years, and it was slowly growing and growing and growing. And he was pulling players from all over this area, the Central Illinois area. And in 2015, it got the eye of a disc golf company called Discraft. Make discs, a whole bunch of bags, all that. And so they offered to help sponsor it. And that is kind of when Ledgestone kind of took off. It was just, they were able to help bring in a little more money for the winners. And so after that, it kind of just, like I said, started bringing in a bunch of people. And like the prize pot difference from 2014 to 2015 was huge because it was now getting some notoriety. So then with disc golf, that brings in people now come and play. People are now coming and watching. So it's just that kind of, since it was such a big event, it made people kind of pay
It's
attention.
kind of evolved from that
Yeah,
point.
and like it benefits the communities, brings lots of money into the area where it's at, and so then it's easier to build up your parks and all that.
Were there any other factors that led to disc golfing becoming so huge in Central Illinois?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of factors actually. Cohesive working between things like Ledgestone, and then as well as the park districts themselves, Morton Park District, Peoria, all of those working to kind of keep up these courses and adding more courses, talking with course designers. It's not just set a basket here, put a tee pad here. There's actual design that goes into it. So just a coercive group of everyone coming together and people with the same goal, wanting to make the parks and the courses as nice as possible. Also, COVID played a large factor.
Oh, really?
In outdoor sports altogether. People were tired of sitting inside. 2020 was kind of a rough time for people, and many years following. So it's a sport you can go out on your own and do. You can go out with your friends and still social distance and do. It's kind of a cheap sport. You can just go buy one disc. You don't even need anything fancy, and you can go throw it, and the courses are free. So COVID was probably the biggest kind of driver for sports like disc golf. Just you get out in nature, you get to walk around. There's lots of walking. You can walk 2-3 miles playing one round or 18 holes of disc golf. So, and then also just like the beautiful parks around here, the terrain, things like that. Morton has what some dub the hardest disc golf course in the world.
Really?
They have I think it's a 1,200-foot par 5, which is absolutely crazy.
Does it go over the I-74?
Yeah, right. No, it doesn't do that. It's called the Northwoods Black. They have Northwoods Blue, Northwoods Black, and it's just. I spoke with Joel Dickerson at the Park District, and he just told me that like there was a lot of work that went into it, and just to kind of make it. You got streams, you got trees, you got narrow but fairways. Like it's hard, but it's fair. So it's just things like that have really helped drive the sport around here. We got good courses, they're hard, and they're aesthetically pleasing.
That's awesome. Honestly, it's so good to hear that Central Illinois, we've got a market on a lot of things here. It's a special place. But anyway, thank you so much, Chris. Well, here's a story that producer Sarah super excited about. It's a love story, and baby Taylor Swift said yes. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. Swift made it official on her Instagram this afternoon, sharing photos of herself and Kelce and a massive engagement ring with the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." And yeah, that's not the only happily ever after engagement happening today. WMBD's very own Christina Leahy and Scott Bayer just got engaged at Disney World. From everyone here at home, we want to wish them a huge congratulations.
Yeah, as a Chiefs fan, go Travis. I'm from Kansas. So I'm happy. And then of course Christina and Scott, we see them all every day.
Super happy for them.
So
yeah.
super happy that they.
But I do want to point out, I really do not like the ring that was chosen.
I think you're wrong.
No, like it is. It's ugly. Like it just doesn't. You have unlimited money. You can spawn in a diamond. You have that much money, and it's big, and that's all it is. I think the band is nice because it's not just a little band with a huge rock sitting on it. It's incorporated well. Yeah. Do you think they did like the try-on rings or anything like that?
Guessing on her watch she was wearing, she knew exactly what it looked like.
Really?
So, unless it just happened to match up that way.
Travis
was like, "Hey, wear that watch today."
Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching Beyond the Headlines. You can find all these stories and more over on our website, ciproud.com.
For breaking news and weather updates 24/7, log on to ciproud.com and download the free CI Proud to Go mobile app.